Hey guys, Ryan with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. Episode number 8 of NBA Past and Present with our recurring weekly guest, Coach Jonathan Pixley. Coach, what's up? Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about, and you've got a hard stop at 1 hour.
Correct. I'm excited though, man. This is going to be a fun one. This is something unlike anything we've done so far. So it's going to be.
It is. And now I've done this before on my channel, but it was over a year ago. So it'll still be interesting. We're going to talk about our top basketball movies of all time. We agreed on the topic. What we didn't agree about is how we were going to organize those movies. And so if I have this correct, you have an honorable mention. You have a second team of 5 movies. You have a first team all movie, top 5.
Yes.
And the way I did it is I have 3 tiers with 3, 2, and then my top 3. So I've only got 8 movies total, but you've extended yours to maybe like 13 to 15 movies. So 14 movies.
Yep.
So 4 honorable mentions. So we'll whip through that quickly. We're also going to do something new. It's a new segment on the show that I think a lot of card collectors are actually going to like. It's called Who's That Dude? Where I let you try to guess who these guys are in the background of a card. So it might be a Jordan card and it's got a guy in the background. You got to tell me who you think those background guys are.
Love it.
I went ahead and pulled 5 cards. They're all from 1986 Fleer. So I'm testing you on 85, 86, around that era.
Yeah.
As to how much you know about obscure dude, maybe not even obscure, but guys in the background of cards, right?
Yeah.
We know who the card is of, but we don't know who those guys are that are guarding or trying to guard the player in the card. So we'll do that. And then I've got a little bit of stuff. If we have time at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about PER, overall Raptor rating, and sort of just briefly just kind of give some input into teams that are on the up, teams that are on the outs, and then players that have kind of solidified themselves for a couple of the awards of the NBA. Let's get started with the movies because that's the most important thing, and we want to chat through that. In basketball movies, my buddy, my son Cam said the other day, he's like, "There's really not that many good basketball movies," and I was like, "What are you talking about? There's a million." First of all, there's a ton of good baseball movies, which we could also do. And honestly, I do agree with Cam in the fact that there's probably more good baseball movies than basketball movies, almost certainly. Yeah, and if I did a list where we merge those two together, baseball movies might occupy a good chunk of my top 5 over basketball movies, even though I like basketball more.
It would be all of them. Like the best baseball movies are better than all the best basketball movies.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
We even though it's a basketball channel, we might do that. We'll get comments. Let us know in the comments if you want us to do our top baseball movies and then where we would fit them if we merge them with best basketball movies. Football, right. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There's some good football movies, but none of them are jumping out at me where they would be ahead of certain baseball movies. Like, I'm not going to get into the list because I don't want to spoil anything, but I can't think of any football movies. One football movie I know, this is just my opinion, would be number 1 on my list ahead of all my basketball movies.
Remember the Titans? Is it Remember the Titans? No. Any Given Sunday? No. I don't know. What would it be?
Jerry Maguire would be number 1 on my list. That's me.
That is a football movie, though.
Okay, well, if you count it as a football movie,
yeah, for sure.
I think that might trump even. It's tough. I hate making these decisions. That's why I did tiers and I refuse to rank them in order. But let's get cranking. So let's start with let's do your honorable mentions, which I guess are going to be like 14, 13, 11, 12, and 11. Let's roll. Knock them out.
So that you understand my criteria, I based this. The overwhelming theme was what movies would I like to watch over and over again, and I'd be tough. Because some of these movies they have better actors than some others, and they're probably more well written than others. But I wouldn't want to watch them again over and over again, right? So they're going to be a little bit lower on my list probably than you would think. But my honorable mention.
Wait, that does what? What are you talking about? You're ranking movies about whether you'd want to watch them again?
Yeah, 100%.
That's not how you rank movies. Like my favorite movies in the world, I would not want to watch again.
Strictly entertainment value. That's the way I look at it. They're the most entertaining, best basketball movies of all time that you talk about. You would watch it again if it came on TV for 20 minutes. The whole thing. Okay, the ones that you and I would talk about the most, also. Like, you would have the most one-liners from. You would have all like that. That to me. Okay.
Why don't you just call it the White Man Can't Jump list? Why don't you just call it that?
Well, there may be something to that at the end.
Okay.
So in order for me, the fish that saved Pittsburgh, and the only reason why I have that on there, this is an honorable mention, was because Dr. J was the star, and he's my favorite player of all time. Okay.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I have a note here. It's the only note that I made with a question mark, and it was, I still haven't seen it. I can't believe I haven't seen it, but I knew you would have seen it because Doc was your hero. And so I was going to ask you, generally speaking, tell us the premise of the movie. And I need to go see that, right? I need to watch that.
Yeah, you don't. It's not very good, actually. It's a comedy, but it's a
comedy.
It's a comedy, and all these players
idea.
are selected based on the fact that they're a Pisces zodiac sign. It's really strange. Yeah, it's an interesting deal. I haven't seen it.
Is it like a Stanley Kubrick movie? What? Wait, I was going to ask you, why is it called The Fish? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Somebody put a team together only of players whose astrological sign was Pisces.
Yes.
And they assume Doc is a Pisces in the movie?
Yes. I mean, he was in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So next on my list was Teen Wolf. This is honorable mention, right? So not a great movie, but I've seen it a few times, thought it was an interesting, I don't know,
based on a true story. I mean, that.
For sure, of course, yeah. Now, this is going to shock you because I really, when I first created my list, I thought this was going to be way higher on the list.
Hold on. Can we go back to Teen Wolf real quick? And I just want to point out one thing about the movie Teen Wolf is that they reused the same basketball clips, like the same dunks, like 17 times. Yes. Like they couldn't just shoot for another hour and have like 7 random dunks. They got to replay the same freaking dunk and steal and dribble move 150 times over. Right. Like it was pathetic. It was terrible.
By the way, that brings up a great point because a lot of these movies, if you go back and watch them, they're actually terrible. Like
terrible. No.
Like horrible. Like at the top.
Horrible basketball scenes, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, horrible.
Awful.
But one is great.
My list, I'm like, I've got some at the top of my list, and I'm like, God, that's a horrible movie. Like if you watch it now, right? The basketball. Right. Above the Rim is in my honorable mention. And I thought it would at least find its way into my top 10, but it did not. Because I was a big Tupac guy back in the day. And then what's Leon's character's name in the movie?
Good old Shep. Tom Shepard.
That's right. Anyhow, but if you go back and watch it, because I actually saw it not all that long ago, it's horrible. It's god awful. But it was entertaining.
We're gonna have words. This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be really tough.
Building, dunking the ball. I mean, really, come on. I mean, stop.
You're talking about Nutso. You're talking about Nutso in the movies, right? Yeah.
All right. Anyhow, moving on. Bernie Mac, by the way, interesting homeless sighting in that movie. So
interesting. Boy, it's a shame what happened to old Flip.
Shame what happened to Flip.
It's a shame. Shame what happened to old Flip.
And this is almost blasphemy that it didn't make it into my top 10. But again, I'm not watching it again. And that's Space Jam, the original. Yeah. I just can't watch it again. Now, you will not see Space Jam Legacy on my thing. You know why? Because I will not see it. Because I feel like it's.
I have not seen it either. I haven't seen. Comment below this video if you've seen Space Jam 2 and how you think it compares to Space Jam 1.
And even if you do comment, I'm not watching it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's my 4 honorable mention.
Okay. How do we want to attack this? Well, let me just agree with you on Space Jam's in my 3rd tier, which I guess you could call honorable mention. So it's in my 6, 7, and 8 range. Okay. Because I don't mind watching Space Jam over and over again. I don't mind it, and I turned my kids onto it, and they absolutely freaking loved it. Now, they had a million questions about who is this, who is that, and they recognized Jordan, and then they recognized Bird, right? But they had a lot of questions about it, and I was like, no, that's actually true. Michael Jordan quit basketball to play baseball, then came back to basketball. So that part they thought was fictional, and I was like, no, that's actually true. These are my young kids, of course. So Space Jam's in my 3rd tier. And then I've got 2 that I think are going to make it into your 2nd team. Probably not 1st team, but maybe 2nd team. Glory Road and Blue Chips. Both are on my 3rd tier. Now, my 3rd tier is still top 10. So these are in the 6, 7, and 8 range. So I've got Glory Road. which was also obviously huge, about Texas Wesleyan. Is that what it was called back then? Texas Western back then. Now it's UTEP, of course. And interesting story. When I played basketball in college, you've got much better college basketball stories because A, you played longer, and B, you played meaningful games. But I played for an NAIA team, which just won the national championship in NAIA, just to say that, Loyola in New Orleans. So I played for Loyola in New Orleans. When we were playing, we had duffel bag games where we would travel to go play these teams just to get a whole bunch of cash. Yep. So we would go there, they would bust our ass, and then they pay us to bust their ass in front of their home crowd. Well, we played Iowa State when they had Fred Hoiberg, which some of you may know as the mayor, and he was an All-American, really good player. And then they had Julius Mikalik and Lauren Meyer. So they had 3 guys that were drafted in the NBA. So we got to play Iowa State up there at Ames. We got to play Ole Miss on the road when they were not very good, but still significantly better than us because they were all D1 guys, so they were humongous. And then the last real high-end team that we got to play was UTEP, which used to be Texas Western. Now they're called University of Texas El Paso. And Don Haskins obviously was the coach. And so I got to play against Don Haskins, who was the coach that put that Texas Western team together. Really good movie. Fantastic movie. John Voight plays Adolph Rupp, and they make him out to be a preposterously absurd racist, which he may or may not have been. I don't know. I guess there is some indicia out there that he might have been. I don't know.
That's all I've ever heard about him.
That's all I've ever heard too. So he where there's smoke, there's fire. Usually when there's that much smoke, there's fire. Was Pat Riley on that team? I can't remember the movie.
Yeah,
Pat Riley was on that team. He was the best player on that team. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my dad loves to tell the story. Pat Riley jumped center and never lost a tip. And I'm like, number one, Dad, who gives a shit who wins the tip? It doesn't matter because the other team gets the ball usually in the second half, depending on alternating possession. Number one, so who cares? And number two, I think he just liked to say that because he was like a 6'4" white guy. And so he'd like, to put some belief into me. There's a chance that one day I'll be able to jump like Pat Riley. So
yeah, I bet he lost the tip in that championship game, though.
My guess is he jumping against like Kadeem Latin or somebody, just some absolute monster. They had a good starting 5 for sure. He probably did lose the tip in that game. My dad might have selectively forgotten that part. So Glory Road, Blue Chips hits really close to home. And I could be convinced – we're going to talk about this at the end, about moving up and down. I always change my list because you convinced me. But Blue Chips was tough to leave out of my top 5. It was really freaking tough because it hits really close to home. Neon Badeau, Shaquille O'Neal, lots of cameos of great players. Nick Nolte's awesome. I mean, it is right there at 5B maybe. We'll call it 5B. But I could be persuaded to move it into my top 5.
You're already persuading yourself. I don't even have to do it.
I might. Well, you're definitely going to want me to switch it with another one that I've got in my top 5 because you don't think it is. So those are my third tier. So let's go hear your second team all movie. So this is your 6 through 10.
Yep. Okay. So and this is actually. It is in order for me. Number 10 for me is The Way Back. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Ben Affleck is the coach. He's a high school coach.
Oh, yeah.
He's an alcoholic who comes back. And actually, it's some truth to it, right? Because that was at his stage in his life where he was struggling.
Yeah, I want to see that. I saw it. Is it like a Disney thing? It's not like a Christian Disney movie deal. It's just a movie.
Nope.
How long ago? How long ago was this done with Ben Affleck?
2 years, maybe. I mean,
That's what I thought.
Recent, dude. It's recent, and he's good in it. And the story is really good. He ends up he was a former high school star. There's a story behind all of it, and he ends up going to coach at that high school. And then, the ending's kind of interesting. So that was number 10 for me. This is shocking for me that I would say this, but I enjoyed Uncle Drew. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was, and not because of Kyrie Irving, but because of the cameos by the other guys who played old people in the movie.
Yeah,
like Shaquille was great in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was pretty funny. Number 8 for me, and I almost snuck this in because I will watch this one just because it's hilarious to me, is Semi-Pro. I think Semi-Pro is freaking hilarious. Okay,
Semi-Pro is funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, I could watch him in the post-up kick-out scene. I could watch it over.
Bring it back. No, take it. You take it. Bring it back in. Just resealing.
Yep. Now, these last 2, man, these were the 2 hard ones for me to keep out of my top 5 because I really liked both of them. Coach Carter is one of them. I'm not a huge Samuel L. Jackson fan.
I'm not either.
That's my issue.
It scares me.
But the movie itself was probably the closest thing to some sense of reality, right? That of all of these. And I know like a couple of the other ones were based on true stories. And then He Got Game, which was really, I really wanted to put in my 5 because I love Denzel, and he's got the Dr. J. Fro, and you got Ray Allen, and it was
Rick Fox.
And Rick Fox was in
beautiful
it.
Man, a beautiful man.
Yes, he is.
Should be on TV.
Yes. So that's my 10 through 6 in that order. And again, it's going to be tough for me. I'm not putting any of them in my 5 because I like my 5, but those last 2 were tough, especially He Got Game.
It's tough. So I'll tell you, I have one of those in my 5.
Yeah.
I have not seen The Way Back, but I need to see that. That's on my list of movies I need to see. Yeah. You told me I'm apparently not going to see Fish That Saved Pittsburgh because it sounds ridiculous to me. No. Here's another one. I don't think it's going to be in your top 5, but I kept coming across it when I was just kind of doing some research on the internet. High Flying Bird.
Never heard of it.
Did you see that? No?
Never
Apparently we need to go see that. It's real recent. And it's sort of about the NBA lockout. And it's kind of based somewhat in truth, but it's supposed to be a really good Steven Soderbergh movie where a sports agent gets the idea that we don't need the NBA during this lockout. We can get these players to play games against each other and then stream it on social media. Oh, wow. But apparently it's really cool. Lots of cameos. So almost along the lines of Hustle, but I haven't seen it. So I can't speak to it. And you haven't mentioned Hustle yet.
Nope, not yet.
Okay. And I didn't have, again, I could watch Hustle again for sure. And in fact, I almost clicked it the other day to watch it again, but it's not in my top 8. So we've done, okay, so that's good. So that was your second team. Tell me what else was on there.
So I've got He Got Game, Coach Carter, Semi-Pro, Uncle Drew, and The Way Back.
Okay, Semi-Pro is not in my top 8. Obviously, that's, again, mine is just the ones that I thought were the best movies. If you're asking me movies that I would want to rewatch, Semi-Pro would definitely be in my top 5. Because some of the ones that are in my top 5, I don't really want to rewatch, to be honest with you.
It's simply the ones that I was the most entertained by. That's it.
I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be shocked if one of my top 5 is not in your top 5. But okay, so that's your 2. So what do you want to do? How do you want to attack these? We're down to 5 each, right?
Yeah. So let's go. Let's just go in order. You don't have them ranked, or you do have them ranked?
I have 4 and 5 together, but not in order. So let me give you my 4 and 5 because one of them you've already mentioned. I've got Above the Rim in my top 5. I've got it number 5/4 along with He Got Game. And let me tell you why I've got Above the Rim up there, because the basketball in Above the Rim, everybody except almost everybody in there can play basketball.
True.
Like it was really good basketball scenes. Yeah. The idea of it, of a 3-on-3 tournament, like in the city, appealed to me, obviously, because we used to play Hoop It Up and you used to travel and we used to play. So that appealed to me. I thought the story was good. I agree. Some of it was a little bit unbelievable. You know, oops, I lost my friend playing basketball on a rooftop and he slapped the backboard. The backboard gave way and he flew off the roof and died. Right. That was basically, the seminal moment in the movie that had to happen for the movie to have any meaning whatsoever, because the guy he was playing against was fighting mental demons and blaming himself for that. It was really weird. That part of it was preposterous, outlandish, and stupid. Yes. But the rest of the movie, I just enjoyed it. And I'll be honest with you, I've probably watched Above the Rim 7 or 8 times.
I probably have too. That's the thing. I probably have, but I wouldn't want to keep doing it. And I think the good thing was Tupac played a role that he probably would have played. Right?
I was about to say, Tupac was pretty damn good in that movie, man. Right. I'll tell you what, Bernie Mac was freaking awesome as the psycho bum that's a little bit off from using the drugs.
Dwayne Martin was pretty good. I thought one of the most telling parts was that the white guy that Dwayne Martin's character got destroyed by was named Montrose.
Yeah, Montrose. Yeah, Montrose. And it was Eric from The Grind. Do you remember that? It was from MTV. You don't remember from MTV, Eric from The Grind? There was like a show on MTV called The Grind. This was way back now. We're going back to right at the 80s.
I wasn't a huge MTV guy. So
no, well, I wasn't either. But I was when they used to have music on there, but now they don't even have music on there. Or it's hard to find, at least. That's a great movie. That's a great movie. So lots of really memorable scenes. And I'll never forget, there was a move that I used to use in pickup that I learned from that movie where Kyle Lee Watson had him in the post, had Montrose in the post. He did a behind the back, directly in front of the defender, between him and the defender, exposed the ball to the defender. The defender reaches, and then he spins out of it.
Yep.
So it's like a backwards between the back spin move, and it made no sense, but I loved it, and so I tried to incorporate that into my game. So above the rim, and he got game. He got game. I thought was slow the first time I saw it.
My issue, yeah.
And I watched it a second time, and it was weird. Like his relationship with the hooker was weird. It was a little weird. But it's thoughtful and thought-provoking, and it really was a glimpse into the world of a super spoiled, 5-star, I'm more important than everybody else around me, 17-year-old. It was really, I thought, a really good glimpse of that, and I thought Spike Lee did a good job in that movie, and at the end of the movie was good too, because if I recall, we don't know how it ended. Like we don't know what he chose, right?
No, he chose.
Well, don't spoil it, but are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive we know. Yeah. We know.
Okay.
Am I wrong about that?
I think you're wrong about that. And I haven't seen it in a long time, but I need to go back and watch it again. Don't spoil it for people. He Got Game's a movie worth watching no matter what. If you haven't seen He Got Game, you need to go watch He Got Game. There's a lot of memorable parts in that. And again, Rick Fox is in it. Rick Fox he's actually really good in it. Of course, he's like 35, and he's supposed to be, the senior at the college that's trying to recruit Jesus Shuttlesworth. And again, what a name, Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Best basketball name ever. Yes, I will say that.
Best basketball name ever. Borderline sacrilegious, possibly, especially the way it's portrayed in the movie. But it is what it is. Everybody's gonna have an opinion on that. So above the rim, He Got Game are 4 and 5 for me. So give me kind of like your 4 and 5.
So 5 for me is Hustle. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's probably the best written basketball movie that I've seen. And then also all of the guys that Sandler was able to get to have cameos in the movie, and like I think I really envision Anthony Edwards, for example, who I thought was great. But I thought he was great because that's probably exactly how he is in real life.
Exactly. Maybe not quite as mean-spirited, but yeah, it came way too naturally to him. That role came way too naturally for him not to have some of that in him, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But I love the storyline behind it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the basketball scenes were actually, obviously they were real because they got real dudes, right?
For sure.
And then my 4 was Glory Road. And I love Glory Road. I thought it was fantastic. So we've already talked about it. So yeah, Hustle would be 5 and Glory Road would be 4 for me.
Yep. Remind me, Coach Carter, was that about John Ehret? High school?
No, they did make a movie about that though.
But that's not it.
It's not about John Ehret, no.
What's Coach Carter about? Just a bunch of
I want to say it was in Chicago. It was a high school in Chicago that they had that. Remember Samuel L. Jackson, he actually owns a store of some sort, clothing store or something in town. And they get rid of the basketball coach. He comes in to coach the team. He's super disciplined, whatnot. Well, they run through the regular season, and at the end of the year, they've got guys with grade issues, and so they end up having to forfeit a bunch of games, and they fall from like number 1 in the rankings all the way to the bottom of the bracket, and they end up playing the best team in the first round, and I mean,
if it was Chicago, then they played Simeon, right? That's probably
right. It is. I think it is based on a true story. So it was a cool scene, and it's funny because like Channing Tatum's in that movie, and he didn't look retarded on a basketball court.
Really?
Guys actually, could play a little bit. So Coach Carter's a good movie. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good 4 and 5. You got a good 4 and 5. So how do you want to attack the top? Okay, so here's the deal. Our top 3 might be the same. We have not. If it's not, then
they're not. Well,
that's crazy.
One of them definitely isn't going to be. One of them. The other 2 probably will. Yeah.
How could you not have mentioned one of these 3 in your top 14? It's unbelievable. We're about to have words, so let's just keep going.
No. They're all in. But don't worry. Just go.
Okay, give me your number 3.
My number 3 was Blue Chips, and again, I loved Blue Chips. I thought Blue Chips. You had it.
I know, but you've left out one of my top 3 from your top 14. One of my top, and you had to have just forgotten about the movie. Yeah, because you would agree with me. There's no way in hell that my top 3 aren't in your top 14. You've missed one. Keep going. Go ahead. Talk about Blue Chips.
So no, I don't need to talk about blue chips. We already did. It's just a matter of I thought the best dudes were in it, and I thought Matt Nover, by the way,
Yes, from Indiana.
was incredibly awkward when he came into the locker room and said, "Here's what I need," but it was like perfect, right?
Yeah.
At the same time.
That was a great scene. I remember that. Here's what I need.
Now, Nolte talking about basketball in that movie, if you go back and watch it, was awful. Awful when he's trying to teach like footwork and things like that.
Yeah.
But
passionate.
Very passionate. He was great in that press conference at the end, though. It was a great press conference. At the end. But anyhow, yeah. So Blue Chips is number 3. Even though some of the acting, I think Shaquille might have been the best actor in the movie, potentially. Yeah,
he played himself pretty much.
Penny Hardaway was a horrific actor, but
horrific. Right. Yeah. We knew that. Well, look, Blue Chips hits close to home because it does. A lot of it takes place in Louisiana,
right?
But a lot of people that are watching this are probably really young and don't know about Blue Chips. Blue Chips is an absolute must see. Like, you need to go watch Blue Chips and do your best to identify who the players are that make cameos in it. You'll enjoy Blue Chips no matter how.
You'll see Shaquille, like when they discover
young Shaquille.
You see him when they discover him in that whatever that overpass that they were playing in.
Right,
dude. No, people today, young guys, they don't remember Shaquille looking like that.
They don't remember young Shaquille. Yeah. LSU Shaquille was a whole different level of freakish athletic. The closest thing I've ever seen to Wilt Chamberlain. That's the closest thing I've seen to Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, significantly more powerful than Wilt Chamberlain on a basketball court, unquestionably. Right. Probably weighed 100 pounds more. Even then, that's those two guys stand out to me. Just physically more than any other players that have ever played. Blue Chips is your number 3. Okay. Well, keep going. Did you do your 2 and 1? Because my 3, I'm not going to put them in order. I can't do it because I think they're all number 1. So I'm not going to choose.
Okay. So number 2 for me was Hoosiers. And it was tough that it could have been 1 for me. Hoosiers.
Depends where you want to go. Depends where you want to go with it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Hoosiers was the first favorite basketball movie, right?
Yeah.
And then this other one came along. But really, I could just say 1A and 1B. I mean, really, that's what this is for me. Because like you said, it depends on what you want to do. Yeah. But Hoosiers was, again, based on a true story and this and that. And, Jimmy Chitwood is an iconic figure, in movies and whatnot. And then number 1 for me was obviously White Man Can't Jump. Because you and I, of course, spent so much time out in the playground.
Well,
and
how many times did we see it in the movie theater? You and I saw it.
Yeah.
I think 3 times in the movie theater, like within the week it came out.
Yeah. And I would watch it. I would watch it again today if it came on.
Yes. And, every time.
And so many different cameos in that you forget about unless you go back and watch it again, So just great scenes on the playground. So much great trash talk. I mean, just awesome. Just fantastic. So that's my 1 and 2.
Okay. See, I have no problem with your 1 and 2 because they're part of my 1, 2, and 3. But let's talk about Hoosiers. And then I'm going to tell you about your humongous, ridiculous, preposterous.
No, I must have missed something huge.
You did miss something, and I hope you're going to say I completely forgot about it. But Hoosiers, every single actor was perfectly cast and fantastic in Hoosiers, in my opinion, except Jimmy Chitwood was terrible. Now, I don't know if he was supposed to be terrible. And he could shoot, right? So maybe they when they kind of did the roles or they did the casting, they're like, we need somebody who really can shoot a basketball that looks like 6'5" white guy, clean cut from Indiana that would grow up in a rural town to be able to shoot the piss out of it. Right. So maybe they prioritized that over acting because he was a terrible actor.
Horrible, yeah.
Everybody else in that, even his teammates, everybody was fantastically cast, in my opinion. Is there anybody I'm forgetting? I thought that there was really good acting in that movie.
I think obviously Dennis Hopper was great, but I think Jimmy Chitwood was supposed to be like that, though.
Just awkward and kind of an introvert. Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be like that, so I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah.
Now I did have a problem. I mean, if you really want to break it down, I did maybe have a problem with the fact that he couldn't have gotten his shot off against anybody. But whatever.
Why? What are you talking about? Back then in the 50s? What in the 50s?
But obviously, he had that scene where he made like 10 in a row or something. Remember on the outdoor rim, bent every time he shot.
His elbows tucked a little bit too much in.
A little bit.
Yeah. Ball needs to move a little bit out from his face. Yeah, agreed. And then you had White Man Can't Jump. Okay, so I'm not going to argue with White Man Can't Jump. What's interesting is White Man Can't Jump's my 1A or 1B or 1C or whatever you want to call it. And I cannot stand Rosie Perez. I can't stand listening to her. I can't stand her accent. I can't stand – I know that may not be how she is in real life, but every person she ever played in any movie was that person. Can't stand it, can't stand it, can't stand it, can't stand it. Yes. But still loved the back and forth between Woody Harrelson and Sydney, which was Wesley Snipes on the movie, so much that it overrode all of my disdain for Rosie Perez. Awesome movie. And might be crazy. Did they not come out with a sequel?
I don't remember. I don't think they did.
I need to look that up.
I think I would have at least given it a shot if they did.
I feel like there was talk about making one, maybe. I don't know. We need to look into that. But it would be interesting for you and me to cast who would play the parts. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. So here's the movie that I think is probably, and again, I wouldn't necessarily, I've watched it twice. I wouldn't necessarily really want to watch it a third time. It's very long, but it doesn't have the rewatchability like White Man Can't Jump. But Hoop Dreams.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, I saw it. I did see it. I know William Gates and the whole thing, but I didn't like it when I watched it. I just didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, I just wasn't. I mean, it was. I guess my thing is like back when it first came out. I mean, that's a documentary, obviously, right? So I wasn't. I didn't like that angle. I wanted to be entertained by a basketball movie. So no, but I get it. I mean, I definitely saw it. You know, I wrote it was one that I wrote down on my list.
Yeah,
I started breaking it down.
Well, they've done another one. They did it. They went back and revisited them in their lives. Arthur Agee and William Gates. Yeah. Which I need to, and I think I asked you about it if you had seen it. Yeah. So I still haven't gone back to watch that. I definitely need to go back and watch it's not a remake. It's just they check in with them in their lives. That would be interesting to watch for sure. But I mean, Hoop Dreams is squarely in my top 3. And again, we may be, gauging it differently, and that's everybody's got their own way of doing things. But Hoop Dreams to me, especially at the age that I watched that, if I recall, wasn't that early 90s? I mean, we might have been.
No, it would have been mid 90s. No, it would have been, probably 93, 94, because we actually at Samford played against, which one went to the Arkansas school? Was it Arkansas State?
Arthur Agee, yeah.
Yeah. So the year I was hurt, my medical redshirt year of my ACL, we played them.
1994 film, which means you probably played them in 90.
It would have been 93, 94. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Depending on when they released it, how soon after filming it.
Yeah. And I was just like, the dude's all right. I mean,
he was just okay.
Just okay.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, again, documentary didn't intrigue me.
Yeah. I get it. I understand.
The other one that didn't intrigue me at all that I've never seen is, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he is a
drug diaries.
Yeah.
Where he's a drug addict.
Yeah. Never seen it.
Some other people told me it's a fantastic movie. I don't know how much of it. I don't know how it's a basketball movie more so than a drug movie. But and again, you can merge the two for sure because many have. But I haven't seen Basketball Diaries either. Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, High Flying Bird, Basketball Diaries, and then you told me there's another one. You told me I need to see.
Way Back, you got to see.
Way Back, I got to see. So Way Back and High Flying Bird are the two that I need to see next, and then I need to see Hoop Dream sequel. Anyway, that's it. Let us know in the comments. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna say something real quick. I'm making an immediate switch.
A trade.
It's blasphemous what I've done, and I'll admit it that I'm taking one out of my honorable mention and replacing one on my second team.
Above the rim.
I'm moving Uncle Drew to the honorable mention, and I'm putting Above the Rim in my top 10.
Okay, that's better because I was going to revisit that and I completely forgot. I've not seen Uncle Drew. I'm not seeing Uncle Drew.
Yeah.
You think I need to just see it? You think I need to just see it? Would Cam and I enjoy watching that movie?
Yeah, you'd laugh. I mean, it's funny, but it's not a movie like for me. I'd watch Above the Rim today again.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, for sure. Above the Rim is second only to White Man Can't Jump in most quotable quotes from the movie. I mean, there is a lot to take in from Above the Rim. Above the Rim is going to be enjoyable for people of all ages. A real family-friendly film. Not so much. But
you've seen Hustle?
I've seen Hustle. I really liked Hustle. Hustle would be right there, probably just behind Blue Chips, Glory Road, Space Jam. Yeah, I'd probably have it 9 to 11. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. You know what? I would like to watch Hustle again. Yeah. And so maybe if I watch it again, it could sneak into my top 10 or be right there squarely at the 9-10, somewhere in there.
Yeah. It's probably a little closer home to me because I'm training, guys. And so when you see that, it's just a cool thing. You finally get a diamond in the rough kind of guy. Anyhow, all right.
Okay. That's it for our movie list. We're at 35. I know you got a hard stop here with about 20 minutes left. So let's do our Who's That Dude game, right? That's what I decided to call the game. Who's That Dude? Basically, and I'm gonna pull up some cards, and you're gonna tell me who these guys are in the background. And for this, we're gonna do it every episode. So for this first episode, it is. Let me see if I can get you. Okay, here we go. It's only cards from 1986 Fleer. Okay, so these guys, the pictures might have come from 86. They might have come from 85. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in. Well, we know that's Cedric Maxwell, Cornbread Maxwell, who's most known for his.
That's Kurt Nimphius.
Okay, God damn it, man. It's Kurt Nimphius. Yes.
Is that really what you want to do? That's what you like? Maybe the most recognizable bad player in the history of basketball.
No, listen to me. I didn't say they were going to be hard for you. I said I just took the first 5 cards I took. So some of these are going to be really easy. I did not think that was going to be that easy, to be quite honest with you. But let's take it a step further. Look directly right now. I want you to look directly at Cedric Maxwell's nuts because they're almost coming out of his shorts. Okay.
Yes.
Look just down and left from his left testicle and see the coach.
Don Chaney.
There you go. Okay, so you're 2 for 2. So I knew you would probably catch Chaney for sure.
Yeah.
I did not know you were going to crush Nimphius so quick. Okay. And most people think Cedric Maxwell and they're like Celtics for sure, but I didn't even know he played for the Clippers, dude.
I forgot about that. I didn't.
Yeah. So I also didn't know he let his balls hang out of his shorts when he played basketball in the NBA, but apparently he did.
Back then. Yeah.
All right, number 2.
All right. Well, that's obviously that's Jack Sigma, Ant-Man. So that's an easy one. I was trying to see if there's anybody else back there, but I can't really tell.
I can't tell who that is, but it's another Clipper. And by the way, I discovered something. Apparently, the photographer took a ton of these pictures at Clipper games because that's a Clipper in the background. The last one was obviously was the Clippers, but I thought maybe I could sneak in here and maybe create some confusion amongst the viewers that it could be Tom Chambers, but it's clearly Jack Sigma, the other giant 6'10", white, blonde-headed dude that played for the Sonics. So, that's definitely Jack Sigma. So you're 2 for 2. You're doing great so far. By the way, do you remember Al Wood at all?
I remember the name. I don't remember him as a player, though. Yeah.
If he was in the background, I would not have recognized Al Wood. Let's put it that way.
That is correct.
Okay, we're moving on to card number 3. Everybody in the comments, we should probably give people in the comments a little more time to guess these. But,
okay.
We'll give them 5 seconds.
Right.
This is a softball. It is as easy as it gets for you, but I just wanted people, watching at home to look at it. That is not Pete Maravich, by the way. That is Bill Hanslick shooting the ball.
Great Pete Maravich.
Although it's pretty damn close to a Pete Maravich. Yeah. But the guy trying to block his shot is, of course, probably the least well-known Laker from the Showtime Lakers. But, he was famous for being a virgin, I think, deep into his late 30s. Go ahead. You can tell the people who it is.
Well, it's AC Green, University of Virginia star, actually. Is he not still that?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
Well, we got to have to Google that. If you want to know if AC Green's a virgin, A, you would have to rely on his, honesty and veracity, and B.
Why would he admit that in his late 30s and lie about it now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Well, he might have got. My point is, I don't think he was like abstaining forever. I think he was just like, I'm waiting until marriage, which is honorable, respectable, and so I would assume he maybe have gotten married since then. That's interesting. I'm going to pull it up. AC Green. I'm trying to type with one hand. Remember?
Oh yeah.
AC Green wife. Oh God, this could be bad.
Okay, so he's not anymore.
Well, he's right here with a bunch of Laker girls. That doesn't look real innocent. AC. Who is AC Green married to?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. I think we're going to go way, way, way down. We're going to go way down a rabbit hole. Personal life, AC Green Youth Foundation, which operates youth camps to promote abstinence until marriage. Admirable. In 2000, He wore a green bear on his head while on the bench during basketball games to promote his foundation. Had beautiful Jerry curls at one point.
Yes.
Not quite as greasy as
Michael
Cage. Yeah, Michael Cage, but greasy enough to where if he was getting the rebound, you were just going to let him have it, right?
Sure. Him, Steve Coulter, and Michael Cage. Yeah.
Steve Coulter, yes. Probably would be outlawed in today's age because when you get that whatever sheen or whatever was on the oil from his hair, when you get it on the ball's slick as hell, right? I mean, they're out there mopping floors up because people, when they fall on the floor, all the players sweat on the floor. You got to mop the ball up. Anyway, good dude. He married his wife Veronica or Veronique, depending on, I don't know how to pronounce it, in 2002. Okay. So we're going to assume shortly after 2002 he consummated the marriage.
Yep.
It's a safe assumption.
We just broke down AC Green's celibacy. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. That's impressive, though, to be an NBA player, let alone for that franchise, let alone with that teammate next to you and abstain until marriage.
Yes.
That's a man's man right there. That guy's a stud.
I got it. You don't have to. Can you? Yeah, that's what I need. Is it again? Did you do it again?
I tried to slip one past the goalie.
Oh my God, you did it again.
I tried to slip one past the goalie. I could.
Double Memphis? Oh my God.
That begs the question: what the hell are these photographers doing? And was the photographer dating Kurt Nimphius or something? Because I picked the first 5 cards I saw, and 2 of the 5, Nimphius.
You went double Nimphius on me.
Nimphius. Yes, Nimphius. Sorry, Nimphius. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Doesn't matter. You did it twice. That's what matters.
Nimphius the Nympho. He was probably teased as a kid. That's for sure. So that's Nimphius again, guarding, of course, he who shall not be named on this channel. Probably a player. I don't use the word hate very freely, but I did not care for this player. I thought he had horrible intentions every time he set foot on the floor. I purposely don't own a single card of his. If I ever pull one out of a pack, I throw it in the trash.
Let's just say this: after we did the episode about least favorite players, right? I went home and I asked my wife, and I said, "We just did this episode today. Who would be at the top of your list?" Before I even got it out, she's like, "Well, Laimbeer, of course." Like, she didn't even hesitate. No hesitation.
Your 48-year-old wife immediately threw out Bill Laimbeer's name. For the wrong reason. Yeah, no, unquestionably, Laimbeer. Okay, last one. This is going to be another softball for you. I'm going to have to step this up for you next time. Yeah, I'm going to have to step this up. But I think.
Oh, yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah. I thought I might get you because he's relatively thin here. And I know Benoit expanded a little bit in his later years. But it was just too easy for you. I got to choose 5 better ones next time. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
Double Zero got me because he has some Joe Barry Carroll look right there.
That's what I thought. That and just every other terrible 6'9" black forward that played for the Clippers for like 30 straight years who didn't stick around very long because the Clippers were the absolute dead end, worst place in the world to be. And people have already forgotten about that. Like the Clippers are now like not that bad, but back then it was like a disaster.
I'm pretty sure Benoit Benjamin was like 7'1".
He might have been. Yeah. But you can't tell in the picture. He looks shorter than Walton.
True. It's true.
Look at Walton's arms. Does that surprise you?
Yeah. Long. Super long.
Not super long. Muscular.
Not so much.
Look at his left arm. Good delts. Who knows what's underneath those knee pads, though? Not much cartilage. That's for damn sure.
I would love to hear Walton's description of his delts.
Yeah. It would take an hour. I know that. And it would end with marijuana.
It would end with how much better Larry Bird's delts are than his. That's what it would end with.
Have you ever heard a player speak more glowingly and in more reverence of another peer than Bill Walton talking about Larry Bird? Literally, you would think he walked on water.
And ironically, Bill Walton is the second greatest college player ever, probably, and would have been one of the probably 25 to 30 greatest players ever had he stayed healthy. You know what I'm saying?
We'll never know. We'll never know. But
pretty funny.
He did win a very unexpected title in 78,
77. Yeah.
77 with that Blazers team. Who was the next best player on that team? Was it Lucas?
Maurice Lucas. Yeah, Lionel Hollins was on that team. No, Lionel Hollins was on. No, yeah, Lionel Hollins was on that team. But
who's scoring
the MVP the next year, but only played like 50 games.
Really?
Yeah, the next year.
And the Blazers were never heard from again until Jordan busted that ass.
Yeah.
And shrugged their ass out of the playoffs.
That's right.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about – we got about 10 minutes left, or about 5-10 minutes left. Let's talk about what's going on in the NBA. So let's look at the PER. Let's just pull up PER and start talking. We did an episode. This is episode number 8. Gosh. And so maybe episode 1 or 2 or something like that. We were talking about the MVP, the big cast net. There was like 13 names on our list. Then we did another episode where we weeded out about 4 or 5 of them from injury. You know, Booker, Anthony Davis, Steph. We kind of tried to weed out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And now we're looking at PER. Does this right here surprise you?
You would think it would, but not with what he's been doing, because he's been absurdly efficient, dude.
I didn't realize it. Yeah. I did not realize that Embiid would be third in PER. PER is the best indicator of the likely MVP award winner.
Yes.
And it surprised me that he was that high on the list, to be quite honest with you. I was really shocked. Look at Zion sneaking in the top 10 and Jimmy Butler at number 9. I don't think a lot of people would realize that. Anthony Davis, you know, the one glaring thing on this top 10 PER list is number 1, Tatum's not in it. And he's getting praise upon praise upon praise for having an incredibly efficient year. Again, it's in comparison to prior years of Tatum. Right. But even his most efficient year by far of his career isn't a top 10 PER year.
No. And he's just not an efficient dude, man, because when I say efficient, I'm talking about compared to these guys, right?
Well, let's go through the list. Name the players who take contested long twos on this list more so than Tatum. That's kind of the problem.
Nobody.
That's the issue, right?
Yeah. SGA does a little bit, but not contested really, you know. But that's what would
Giannis' PER be if he did not take a single three-pointer?
Oh,
higher?
Yeah, higher than that. Yeah.
Higher than this, yes.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, you know, you take Luka, for example, okay?
Yeah.
He takes I look at Tatum and I go, Tatum takes probably 3 to 5 WTF shots a game, right? Like, why? Now, I'm not talking about the end of the shot clock. Like, why are you doing that, right? Luka does the same thing, but look at his PER. Of course, Luka has to with his teammates, you know.
Yeah, Luka has no choice.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. And I tell you what, I know you're doing position now, but no, Embiid has been spectacular this year. I mean, absolutely spectacular when he's on the floor. There's no question about it.
Why? How did it switch over to centers?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you switched it. So you click on it. Just go to all. Click on it.
I did. It was on all. Look, it's only centers. It's only showing me centers on estimated wins added.
Interesting.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Why? I didn't change that. It's weird.
Yeah. But you know what it does prove, though, and we were talking about this the other day on the phone, actually, remember? It's if you had to choose an MVP today, it's not that Jokic should win it. It's that it's not close.
Jokic is if he hadn't won the last 2, I think it would be unanimous amongst me, you, fans, talking heads, players, coaches, NBA GMs. If he hadn't won the last 2, it would be a runaway.
It's unanimous. For me right now, it's a slam dunk. Like, I'm not saying he's going to win it. I'm saying if you ask me who's the MVP, I'm saying Jokic, and I don't even care who's second, because just as of right now, look at what he's done for the team. You know, Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray still aren't all the way back. Dude, he's got 5 triple-doubles in the last 6 games. I mean, it's incredible.
Do they have to pick a piece up, Jonathan, to be a legitimate title contender, like win the whole damn thing? Do they have to?
To win it, I think Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Well, first of all, Jamal Murray needs to get back to what he was.
He's getting there, man. He's been clicking lately.
Yeah, it's better. Michael Porter Jr. needs to be a 17 a game guy instead of a 12. But with Aaron Gordon, with their bench, they're close, dude. They're close. They can get out of the West for sure.
Look at this. This is the overall Raptor rating, and I don't know where I am on the Raptor rating because we just looked at PER, and that's already a stretch for me because I'm not really an analytics guy. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a math guy, but I like to look at points, rebounds, assists, and field goal percentage and kind of do my math my own way. Yep. But PER is, an aggregate, basically letting you know how efficient a player is. And then Raptor is taking it to a whole nother level. And what's interesting is we saw Jason Tatum was 11th on the PER, but he's 3rd in the overall Raptor, which takes into account defense as well. But they also say Jason Tatum is a where am I? Offensive +5. Yeah, okay. So overall, including offense and defense, they've got Jokic is 5.1 higher than Doncic, which is higher than where Jason Tatum is. Why is this not? Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, I was about to say. So Anthony Davis is in 3rd on the Raptor.
Again, I just erase him. Like, to me,
there's not enough games.
You're not going to play basketball. Who cares?
Not enough games.
Yeah.
The Raptor rating is interesting. Drew Holiday sneaking into the top 10. Kyrie Irving sneaking into the top 10. Lillard in the top 7. Harden in the top 6. Steph Curry in the top 5. If you ask me, this one seems a little more friendly to little people. I know the top is bigs, but it seems a little more friendly to little people because you got Curry, Harden, Lillard. Paul George is basically playing guard. Drew Holiday, Kyrie, Halliburton, SGA, Donovan Mitchell. You got Alex Caruso at 18th. Anything that's got Alex Caruso in the top 18 of league-wide rankings as an aggregate analytics stat, I can kind of throw it out.
I'm not kind of throwing it out. I'm throwing it out.
Just kind of throw it out, right?
Yeah. there's just no point. I mean, to me, that's why analytics can't work. And it's like you talk about, you're not an analytics guy. You're a stats guy primarily. Yeah. I'm an eye test guy. And so I will back it up with stats. But when I watch Jokic play, he is playing with children right now. Is the way it looks.
He is, man.
To me, So.
He does have a little bit of genius in him, and I know
he does.
I don't know. I don't want to throw that word around too loosely, but I hate this early in people's careers to compare them to like transcendent players like Bird and Magic and even LeBron, who we can now talk about in this reference, but. Like, he definitely sees the game on a level that's very special, like not just like generational, like historically.
You have 3 dudes right now that are definitely 3 of the top 10 smartest players I've ever seen in my life, and they
Doncic, Jokic, and LeBron. Dylan Brooks,
LeBron.
Pat Beverly.
It just sucked the life out of me. LeBron James.
Yeah. Just absolute mastery of the game of basketball. LeBron had a spin move dunk last night that I swear to God, it looked like he was 24 years old.
I know, dude.
Did you see it? Did you see the spin move I don't know who it was, but he ended up in the stanchion of the goal, back in the pads, and LeBron just rose up like he never made contact with anybody.
He made 9 threes yesterday.
I know he did.
He's
going to get to this record really soon. On FanDuel, are you going to bet on FanDuel how he's going to get the record? You can bet 3-pointer, free throw, mid-range, layup, dunk. We should do that just to have some fun.
I would bet free throw, even though he's not a great free throw shooter.
I would bet free throw too. He takes a few of them. Although he's not getting as many calls, and that's kind of been his complaint this year, is he's not getting as many calls as he normally gets, as he expects to get. So.
Yeah, I think it would be cool because the play would be stopped then, right? You don't have to stop actual play.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we'll see. But he's amazing, though. He's amazing. Ain't no doubt.
All right, that's it. Another episode in the books. Let us know in the comments. I promise you, there they are. So we know we're at or near the end. I am going to dig deep into the bowels of my collection to find. You heard me, bowels. To find some really obscure background cards.
Clean them off before you show them to me.
I'm going to clean them off. I'm going to wipe them down, right? A little bounty, and then bring it straight out of the bowels and give it to you on the screen, metaphorically speaking. And we're going to find – I'm going to stump you.
Okay.
I'm going to try to stump you. And then
double Nimphius again. That's all I ask.
I can't promise anything. I can't promise anything. I can't. At some point, you're going to give up and you're going to assume it's not Nimphius. You're going to say Tim Kempton or somebody else or something. Or Chuck Nevitt. I'm going to find a Nevitt because Chuck Nevitt looks like a little bit taller Nimphius. Might try to sneak a Nevin in there.
No, he looks like a taller Bill Hanslick. Is who he looks like.
He does. He looks like a little well-kept Pete Maravich. Yeah. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna try to get you with a little. Let me just throw you off a little Nimphius, bait and switch. See if I can get you.
It's too easy with the white guys, though. That's the thing.
Back then,
it's too easy. It's too easy.
Yeah. More white guys in the NBA in '86 or today, and I'm including like foreign guys.
Today.
Like,
gotta be today.
I think so too, because there's so many foreign dudes.
I think if you'd asked me that question from 2000 to 2010, or back from like 95 to 2005, it would have been way earlier. Yeah. But not. Yeah. Now it's a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. All right. Cool. Thank you guys for watching. As always, hit the like button if you like the videos. This is NBA past and present. We talked about the past. We talked about the present. So we're true to form. This was episode number 8. We'll keep these coming to you about once a week. And keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.